Howdy folks, Doc here with Last Best Tool. And you know I have a weakness for these chisel knives. I have quite a few. I've done videos on I think all of them. It kind of stems from my appreciation for these large snap-on striking scrapers, which are essentially just super beefy chisels. A little on the pricey side even for snap-on, but that stemmed from my appreciation for these old Craftsman chisels here with the striking cap. This was also a tool I featured on, I think the ones that I pick up when I find them, the USA made heavy plastic striking cap chisels, just because they are so useful for all kinds of things, even, you know, chiseling wood. But anyway, I saw this guy and just had to take it for a spin. I'm going to call this Camillus. That's the way I've always pronounced that name. I don't know if it's right. I've heard Camillus, but Camillus seems right to me. If somebody is more aware or lives wherever these are made and that's the name of a city or something, let me know. But anyway, I've had I had Camillus knives a long time ago, like in the 80s and actually even in the 70s, but they have since moved a lot of the production overseas. They were actually one of the contractors for the original sort of military, kind of a stainless steel looking Swiss Army knife, but it was USA made, if anyone's seen one of those. Some of the early ones were Camillus. A lot of this is all made overseas now, as is this one, China. Branded, designed in the USA, but I've done videos on that only as far as you can, you know, throw the design, then you lose control of it. But what we've got here is a really stout, basically a chisel knife with some extra features built in. This rasp on the back, this isn't jimping, this is a rasp. I took it out for a spin on some wood, and I'll do a little demo here. It's just amazing how grippy this thing is. I mean, you want to make sawdust, that's the way to do it. So should you need that for some forming, there you go. This is, they say it's a 1/4 inch thick. I actually got my caliper here to measure it. It's about 6.5 millimeters. If I change that to inches, yeah, it's a 1/4 inch thick, whereas a lot of these others are way thinner, you know, from the Mora knife down here to the Fat Max, Holtefors, even this Baco, if I check that, 5:30 seconds, so you can see. And in fact, if you're interested in really chopping wood, I would go with something like this Silky Nada 240, which does have, you know, that tremendous chisel front end. This is actually one of my bushcrafting tools, and even this thing, this is 7:30 seconds. You got to be a full 8:30 seconds to get into that 1/4 inch. You know, if you work your fractions. But anyway, it is some sort of a composite handle. They say it's a plastic handle. When I looked it up trying to figure out more, they just say it's a non-slip ergonomic handle. But listen to this. It is some composite material. If I put a magnet on it, definitely fairly strong all the way down, so the full tang, but they say it's got a full tang, or almost full tang. And if I am careful, I can even get these to hang out on the end of the handle, barely, you can see. So there is some metal coming awfully close to that end, but it doesn't look like it has a striking surface. What else we got? Well, giant flat grind blade. If you look at different ads, some of them don't say that. They call it a hollow grind, but it is definitely not a hollow grind blade. In fact, where's my little ruler down here? It is flat. It is a total flat grind. However, while I've got the ruler out, the chisel front end, you can see this kind of unique cut on the front end. That's great as a scraper, except it isn't flat. If you look, you can kind of see it is rounded, and I didn't modify it. That's the way it came. That to me is more of a, I don't know if that's quality control. I don't know why you would not want a flat edge on this. And then this comes into the name. This type of a knife, you know, goes by a bunch of different names, as you know, from chisel knives etc. But they call this thing the Swedge Knife. That's what you would look up, is the Swedge Knife. And they say it has a chisel tip. That's what they're referring to. However, chisels are usually 90-degree angles, and they also don't have a bow in them like this one does. Maybe it'll show up a little better. Let's see if I can get that to appear here somehow. Maybe run it this way. I don't know. But anyway, it is not flat. I don't know why. That's kind of a bummer. But it was $20 at Home Depot. I saw it for about $25 on Amazon, but the ad was a little skewy on Amazon, so I don't know if that's what's going on there. Super beefy. I like it. This is a slippery handle, but there's some good texture points, and it's got a bit of a guard there. Some of them, you can see all of these have guards. Close enough on that one, but you definitely want something to keep your hand from sliding forward if you're ever going to be scraping forward with it. So an outdoor tool, a shop tool, just an all-around good solid chisel knife that you can see how it compares to some of these others. I mean, it is just in a league of its own. So I'm glad Camillus is really exploring some of these odd ducks. I don't know if there's a specific use for it besides as a chisel, but in all honesty, if I had to do some chiseling, I think this is kind of a form that has evolved over centuries, literally. But if you also want a baton wood, keep it out. For $20, absolutely. These things are over $100 if you want to get into one of these giant natas by Silky, and Silky saws are truly one of my favorite tools. But overall, this is just an unbelievably handy shape. Anyway, there it is. I'll put a link to Home Depot site and Amazon, but your mileage may vary where you end up getting these. I do think a little bit of a texture here and potentially a longer handle, because I'm running out of handle on my hand, would be nice. But part of the appeal there is also it's a very small tool, but you can see the handle is considerably shorter, than all of these. Look at that. If I line up the hilts there, I mean, even this tiny little Mora knife is longer. Anyway, so there it is, the Camillis Swedge Knife. Cool tool, good price. There you go. And with that, Doc out.